Hi, this is Rebecca, and today we are going to talk about bokeh. So today we're going to talk about bokeh. It is actually a Japanese word pronounced as bokeh, but because I have an accent, I say it as bokeh. So what does it mean? It's actually the soft out of focus areas in your shot. It usually takes the shape of your aperture. It could be a circle or a hexagon. So you can get really creative with this. So a bokeh is not difficult to achieve in your photography or your videography. You just need to remember to keep in mind the 3 parameters for your perfect bokeh. So the first one is the aperture. The second one is the distance between the camera, here, remember your camera, and your subject. And the final one is the focal length. With these 3, you can't go wrong. So to begin with, let's talk about the notion of depth of field. So what is it? It's actually the zone in your photo that has sharpness and it's focused. Just as simple. So the smaller it is, the bigger the blur around the subject. So it will be very great for your bokeh. To manage the depth of field, you need to remember that you have to parameter the aperture well. So what is aperture? It's actually the opening in your lens's diaphragm where the light passes through. So the bigger the aperture, the smaller the f number, which equals to smaller depth of field. So the smaller the aperture, you will have a higher f number, which equals to a bigger depth of field. So the shallower the depth of field is, the bigger the blur is, which will be great for the bokeh. So the settings of your camera are very important. So make sure you're either on manual or on aperture for the perfect bokeh. So number 2, remember the distance between the camera, and the subject is important. So keep it as small as possible so you can maximize the blur in the background. Finally, last but not the least, you need to remember the focal length you will use for your bokeh. So what is focal length? It's actually the distance between your lens and the sensor in your camera. Technically, it's best to use macro or zoom lens to get the perfect bokeh. So for example, if you're using zoom lens and your lens goes up to 200 millimeters, make sure to use the 200 to get the best result. It's okay if you don't have these particular lens at your disposal. You will have great bokeh with a 55mm too. So let's check out the example we have for you using the same 55. And today I'm going to show you how to put bokeh into practice. You've got the lovely lights here, as you can see, that we've set it up in our lovely office space. And this is our camera on our tripod. You can see a little bit of a bokeh effect right now. And I'm going to introduce you to my lovely colleague who's going to be helping us set up this bokeh. My lovely colleague, Armin. Say hi to her. So as you can see, the setup is done over here. We've got the camera on our tripod. And we've got a special subject today. Meet Mr. Tin Man, who's going to help us with our bokeh. We've also got the lights set up here. The room is back over there with lights over. So we're just going to come and switch off the light here to have a better effect. So since we're using the 55mm lens, make sure that it is on the 55 and not the 18, because this is the best setting for this photo. So we've got a camera set up as well as the settings. So let's see what they are. As you can see, we've got the time on 1/60th of a second, which is pretty good. Widest aperture possible on your camera. And ISO is auto. As you can see, the camera is ready for me to take a photo. Let's give it a go. This is Rebecca from Kizwa signing out now. Just remember, if you've got any suggestions, you can write them on the comments below. We would love to hear from you. And remember to click on the bell icon next to the subscribe button, subscribe as well, to get notifications for our next video. See ya!